Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 177 of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, aka the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. We are joined once again by our lovely co-host, Willow. Willow, say hello to everybody. Okay, not very chatty this episode, so I am going to have to do most of the talking. For the two of us, that is okay. And since I'm doing all the talking, we need to open this episode with the topic tuggy. All things tuggy. Tugggy. So if you happen to have a dog on your lap, or you have a pet snake, or hamster, or gerbil, or panda, if you're lucky or fortunate enough to have one in the room with you right now, put them in the bedroom, or put on some noise-canceling earbuds, because we're talking about all things tuggy. This is because of my algorithm. And if you're new to this project and you don't really know who the B-Man is, just take a look at this backdrop and you can imagine what my algorithm consists of. It's chaotic because each week, every episode, I'm trying to find new things, new topics, new subject matters to address here on episodes of Verbal Graffiti. So the things I'm looking at are never consistent. It could be Far East, it could be Deep South, it could be sports, it could be some random music on the bongos with guys and babes with the holes in their earlobes. It's this, that, and it's everything in between. And often in between is a lot of hot babes, Instagram models. But this guy showed up in my feed, and he just started talking in his car, which many content creators do these days. But his car happened to be a Volkswagen Bug, modern edition, but it had flowers, like across the hood and the paint. It was a green Bug, like a lime green with yellow flowers. Interesting fellow, a handsome guy, I must admit, probably mid-20s, I'm guessing. Black guy, firm, in shape, good-looking guy. Seems like he had a lot going for him. But he starts talking about tuggies. I'm like, what's a tuggy? And rubbing tugs. I very quickly put it together. So this gentleman, his whole Instagram page is he's traveling from state to state. His objective is to go to all 50 states and get a rub and tug from each one. And he has these Ray-Ban sunglasses that have like a little camera in them, like a secret camera. So he'll go into these rub and tugs, these massage parlors. And most of them are Asian massage parlors. The stereotype does exist. It is true. Asian massage parlors do give tuggies if you pay whatever the fee happens to be at that location. And the fee in the states he was at that I watched are mostly Utah, Washington. Was he in Wyoming? But, he was Midwest, past Midwest, but not all the way west. So he's at these states. And before he goes in to get the rub and tug, he has a Tesla. Was it a Tesla? Now that I think about it, was a Tesla, not a Volkswagen Bug. It was a Tesla with flowers on the paint on the exterior of it. Okay, so it's a Tesla because he has the iPad on the front dashboard and he plays blackjack. And if he wins blackjack, he uses that money to pay for his tuggy at the Asian massage parlor. Genius. Best business plan the B-Man has ever seen or heard of. Why did I not think of that? Why am I not doing this for Verbal Graffiti? But he's got the business plan, so I'm not going to steal it from him. And as many of you may know, or if you're a newcomer, let me tell you, I've never gotten a rub and tug. I don't know. I've never paid for escorts or street hookers. It's just not my thing. Not saying it will never not be my thing, but as of today, it's never been a thing I've done. But I am curious about it, right? Especially the rub and tugs. Because every time I go by an Asian massage parlor, I always think, as I'm sure many of you do, do they give tuggies in there? Or is that an above board massage? Personally, to be man, I would like both, a massage and finish it up with a tuggy. But anyways, this guy, like he'll show you the exterior of the massage parlor. He'll go in and there's always like the ringy bell. The ringy bell to let you know there's a customer there, and like every other mom and pop shop. But every single one he's been into, and I've watched a lot of his videos. Like I'm kind of addicted to this guy now, even though I don't know his name. But he does mention it every episode. But he'll go in, and it's very bland looking. It's kind of white paint, maybe a couple Chinese posters where you can't read the symbols, and then the lady's never at the desk. The front desk, she's always like in the back, and he's got to either ring the bell or wait a little bit till a lady comes up to him, and then he's very direct. I guess that's what you got to do. He'll just go, hey, how much massage? $60? And he'll go, tuggy? You give tuggy? And usually the lady speaks very little English, and she'll respond, yes, tuggy. And then with his camera, he'll go into the massage parlor, into whatever room he goes to. It's usually, again, it's a naked room. Not the massage therapist. There's nothing on the walls. Usually there's like the massage table and then like a neon light to light the room purple or pink or red. And that's pretty much all that's in the room. And then he'll do a little bit of negotiating with the Asian masseuse. And then, that's the end of the video. He doesn't show the actual tug going down. He does have a Patreon. This fella does have a Patreon, so he might show the tuggies taking place there. But again, to be man, I'm cheap, so if I don't pay for OnlyFans, so I'm certainly not going to pay to watch this guy get a tuggy. But he does give the reviews of them, and it's what I found fascinating. The B-Man, that is. What I found, it's not that there are so many rub and tugs throughout the nation in all 50 states. It's that the mindset of the workers, the employees, the sex workers at these locations. And one of the reasons why I've never gone to a rub and tug is because I've always made the assumption that the ladies who working at these places, these massage parlors, I've always assumed they didn't like their work, that they were either doing it against their will or they were doing it willfully only because they need the money. And this is the only way they can make a good living in the U.S., maybe not knowing English very well. So there was always a thing I've had where I'm like, is this, like, am I helping out human trafficking, or am I taking advantage of this lady against her will because I'm in a better spot in life than she is? So I don't want to take advantage of any of these ladies. And I've always been under the assumption that it was miserable working conditions for them, that I didn't want to participate in that. And that's mostly the reason why I've never gone to one. But after watching these videos, again, I've watched 10 or 20 of them, which is minuscule considered to the number of rub and tugs throughout the nation and the world. Like, I've only seen 20 of these videos so far, give or take. But from what I've seen, all the ladies seem to enjoy working there. Like, the lady at the front desk is always very pleasant, smiling, says, hey, come back. Like, yeah, $60. You want more? You want two? You want sucky? That's going to be more. And if they can't speak perfect English, they have their phone out, and they'll do the Google Translate so they could talk from English to Chinese and communicate and negotiate price for the rub and tug to get the tuggy. But it seems, and I was just shocked that the front desk lady to the massage therapist who pops you off with the tuggy, she smiles too. And she smiles at the guy. And I've given it some more thought. And part of me thinks that they might be smiling in his videos because the guy is a handsome guy. He's a young guy in his, I guess, mid-20s. Like I said, physically fit, black guy, dresses pretty well. I'm assuming his hygiene's pretty good going into these places. So again, if you're a middle-aged, 40s, 50s, low 60s, petite Asian woman, you probably don't get to tug a lot of attractive guys in their mid 20s. So now in my head, I'm thinking, well, are they miserable? Are they miserable working as working at a massage parlor where you gotta give tuggies all day? Are they only happy doing it to this guy because he's an attractive guy, or are they happy just because the love of the game? They just love giving tuggies. That's something I vacillate between the two. Because again, every interaction he has with these ladies seems to be positive. They seem to be happy, they're smiling, they're giggling at him. But now, I don't know. Was that because he's an attractive guy and, any babe in her mid-40s, 50s, like if you could give a guy in his mid-20s who's physically fit a tuggy, you'd probably smile too. So maybe they're only smiling because, they get to give a tuggy to a handsome fella and not a misfigured John, a cheese doodle. So now again, I'm vacillating between the two. Are they? Because he's the only variable that's the same in all these interactions. So I don't know. I still have my reservations about going to a rub and tug, but it is encouraging to know that maybe the babes who work at these rub and tugs really do love giving tuggies and do it for the love of the game. A very interesting Instagram follow, not one I'd open up with your family around or in public, but in the privacy of your own home or studio apartment. Give this guy a follow. He's got 500,000 followers, so clearly there are plenty of Johns across the country interested in where to go for a rub and tug and how to interact with the ladies, the babes, the sex workers, giving out the tuggies for the right price. Moving along. This one comes from the subreddit, Sex, Love, and Disability. A disabled wheelchair user by male looking to chat with other disabled people. Hello, 30-year-old male, bisexual, disabled, and wheelchair user looking to chat with other disabled people in wheelchair or devotees. I'm a chubby, hairy man, and I find other chubby people very sexy and attractive as well. So if you're chubby, disabled, and you find chubby men attractive, let's chat. I'm always horny, so sexy chats are very welcome. Well, sir, disabled, hairy, chubby man in a wheelchair, I think you can do better than just a chat. I honestly believe you can find a babe that you can have love with, that you can be intimate with. And before we go any further, I just want to put out a PSA, right? A public service announcement to all of you that if you ever find yourself in a position where you're making love with a babe who's in a wheelchair, just be cognizant of, now how shall I say this? No, I got to read, see, I had something else on my mind. Let's say this, okay? If you're making love to a babe in a wheelchair and she's a squirter, just be very cognizant of hydroplaning. Just be careful, because it gets slippery down there on your wheels. But to you and your story, that's a stupid joke that I tell on stage. I have a lot of squirting jokes. Now, yeah, I talk a lot about squirters on stage, but this ain't about me. This is about our disabled man who's chubby and hairy and wants to find love. And I think you can find love, all right? And everybody deserves love, even a disabled man in a wheelchair. It really is a signifier that life isn't fair. I mean, most of us were able-bodied and we're on the internet and we're doom scrolling and we're bitching and moaning about our lives. And I do it. Like, I barely ever fucking, I bitch about it and I complain and I joke about it. But again, I'm able-bodied. I'm able to, I have coffee cake in the refrigerator right now. Right now. And after this episode, I'll be able to walk to the refrigerator, open the refrigerator, do the whole deal and get that cake by myself, right? But then here's a guy in a wheelchair. He's looking for love. And to be honest with you, he's probably not bisexual. Let's be honest. I mean, he pointed it out. He's a 30-year-old, hairy, chubby, he's disabled. He's relegated to a wheelchair. There probably aren't a lot of hairless, skinny babes or twinks out there that want to fuck him, that want to dance with him. So he has to be bisexual to get any type of intimacy. And every guy out there wants intimacy, whether you're in a wheelchair or not. And everyone deserves to have a little bit of intimacy. So he's probably relegated to being prison gay. He's not gay, but really the only touch that he thinks that he has available to him is possibly a gay man who's also chubby and hairy. And I'm not going to judge him for that, nor should you. But that's the predicament of life he's in, and it's very, it's heartbreaking, really. Really. This guy he just wants some intimacy. He's not even asking for intimacy. The B-man, I'm trying to get him intimacy. All he's asking for is a horny, sexy chat with somebody online. But I want more from him. And it's impossible for me to put myself in his wheelchair, but I'm going to do my best. Now, again, I'm fortunate enough at this moment in time to be able-bodied. I'm able to move, walk around, jump. I have all my senses. But if I was in a wheelchair, and that's the only way I can move around, I think the other person's appearance, their personality, their religion, their family dynamics, all of that would be secondary. And the first thing I would want out of a partner if I was in a wheelchair is somebody who was not in a wheelchair. I would want somebody who's able-bodied, able to move around. That way, that person can push me around, from here to the refrigerator, right? From the car to the grocery store. I need to get from point A to point B. And that comes before love. Before horny, sexy chat. I need to poop. So I need somebody to push me to the bathroom right now. That is the priority. That's why I would want to find a partner, a lover, that's able-bodied. All right? If I was in a wheelchair, the one type of person I would eliminate from a potential lover is another wheelchair person. Because if I'm in a wheelchair, you need to push me. I'm in a wheelchair. So if you're in a wheelchair, I'm not going to push you and you're not going to push me. So we're not going to be productive together. Therefore, one of us has to be able-bodied just to survive. So I find it very odd, peculiar, that our fellow right here, our gentleman, is looking for another person, male or female, that's in a wheelchair. So, see, I would be the opposite. That's just me. Now, to your solution, and to all our wheelchair followers here on YouTube and other platforms, let me know down in the comments. If you're relegated to a wheelchair right now, that's the third time I've used the word relegated. I need to find better words to use for a more robust vocabulary. Let me know down in the comments. If you're in a wheelchair, would you, when you fuck and you date and relationships-wise, do you generally try to go for people who are not in wheelchairs? That just seems to make sense for me, logically speaking. All right. Now, to your solution, you're not going to find anybody to have a sexy, horny chat with. It's just, again, like you said yourself, and it's no fault of your own. You're disabled. You're in a wheelchair. You're fat. You're hairy. Every person on the internet will tell you, well, just lose a little bit of weight. Well, you're in a wheelchair. That's very difficult to do. Go get a waxing. It's like, well, I'm in a wheelchair. Like, waxing me is very difficult. Like, you're hairy. You're chubby. When you're in a wheelchair, it's very difficult to lose the weight. So nobody, like, you're an unfuckable. You're an ugly. And you're disabled. So you're not going to find somebody who's going to willingly chat with you. So you need to, similar to the tuggies, the sex workers of America need to do better. Let's start with the VA. Right? The VA, any veterans who have lost a limb and are disabled and have to live the rest of their days in a wheelchair, they should hire sex workers to give sloppy top to those veterans who have lost a leg or a limb during combat. Right? Maybe once a month, once every other month. That should be part of the VA healthcare policy. You get sloppy top, you get topped off if you've lost a limb in combat. And to you, if you're not a veteran, I'm assuming you're not, because most veterans would have mentioned that in their post. Okay, so to all the brothels, to all the rub and tugs, to all the sex houses in America, strip clubs, are there any of you sex workers that are willing to work pro bono for our guy? And all our guys that live their days in wheelchairs. There just be a holiday once annually where every sex worker in America does pro bono and tops off a wheelchaired man's bono free of charge. And I think that would there's a lot of goodwill there. A lot of goodwill, a lot of good karma. Sex workers should do some pro bono work for those in need. And who's in need more than our gentleman, a guy who just wants some intimacy that we just talked about. So that's my only solution. Go to a rub and tug, get yourself a tuggy. Because your dick still works, right? Even though in your wheelchair, you're still popping a stiff. Good for you. There are a lot of guys not in a wheelchair who can't pop a stiff, but you can. So you're more of a man than those walkable men. Let's go look at a video. There's something the B-Man needs to address, and Willow will address it too. I saw recently that there were a few girls, maybe it was a few, maybe it was one, two or three, maybe some more, who died while surfing on top the subways of New York City. I saw that report, and my condolences to those young ladies and their families. Now, with all those condolences and flowers and tombstones out of the way, like, I gotta admit, that is a cool way to die. That's a cool way. Now, it is tragic, but it is cool, like the people among us, who I'm not one, who treat New York City like it's Grand Theft Auto. And I'm not talking about, it's not cool to like, take a car and run it into pedestrians. I'm talking about treating New York City like a jungle gym. And there are a lot of people who do that. Again, I am not one of those because I am not creative nor courageous enough to do so. But it is cool. Like surfing the subway system, now it is dangerous, but oftentimes dangerous and cool, they go together well. And that is cool. Now to be me, I can't. Like I tried surfing in Hawaii on a longboard. I have no balance. So I would not, and I'm afraid of heights. So surfing the subway system, it's not for me. That's not how that is not how I'm going to die. But if I was on the platform, no, I've never seen this on person. I've only seen videos of this. But if I was on a subway platform, Queensboro Plaza 7 train, and I saw some teenagers atop the subway car, like surfing and jumping back and forth and playing their music as it came up to the station, like a tip of my penis to them, whoever they are. Like, that's pretty fucking cool. That's pretty fucking cool. There are plenty of times, actually more than plenty. There have probably been thousands of times where I've been on the 7 line or the 456, and I've been inside the car, and I would have rather be on top, risking my life, than be in the subway car. That's how miserable the subway can be at times. And I also watch videos of these groups that will like climb up the bridges to do graffiti or just hang out. And you know how the bridges, like the Queensboro Bridge and the Brooklyn Bridge, like there are loops. You have the bridge, but then like the loops that somehow keep it up. Well, like, there are like ladders and tunnels that maintenance workers can get up to, do maintenance on the bridge and make sure it's still safe. Well, there are groups of rascals they take their camera and they climb up these bridges to the highest point of the bridge, and they hang off, or they do some graffiti, or they take videos of themselves. And you see that. And then there are other videos where there'll be guys or babes that will go into the subway tunnels, like similar to the movie Pelham 1, 2, 3, but they do it for real. And you'll see all these like random graffiti and artwork. And there are people exploring New York City, the most dangerous parts of it, not people-wise, but just risking your life, falling from a bridge or getting stuck in a tunnel, hit by a subway, where I see those videos, I go, well, that's pretty, they really are treating New York City as though it's a jungle gym to play around. And every time I see a video like that, I'm like, man, that's, like, I kind of wish I had that in me. I had some of that moxie, that aura to live a life like that. Obviously, I don't. I'm pretty tame. I'm just a basic normie who drinks black coffee and has, little dogs for pets. But man, to surf a subway, like that never even occurred to me when I lived in New York City, to go atop the subway car. Like, I don't even know how they do it. But the fact that someone thought about that and then it's kind of become a trend, I think that's encouraging. Now, again, it is dangerous, and if you die, it's tragic, but that's part of the game. If you're going to be a subway surfer, death is possible and will happen to some of you. But for the glory, maybe it's worth it. Like, there are a lot of surfers out there, like regular surfers of waves, big wave surfers. They die. Like, if you're a surfer, you might die, whether it's on the water in the ocean or atop a subway in New York City or a bus in a major metropolitan area. So, like, I'm all for it. To be, man, I am pro subway surfing, and it's worth it for the glory. Obviously, there's, you can fall to your death, but the videos are fun. Like, you gotta admit, when you see 4 teenagers, they're just walking across a subway top as it's over to Queens, like, that's awesome. That's awesome. That is awesome. I wish I was that type of person. I am not. That's why I've never broken a bone, because I don't ride subways. I don't surf the subways, and I don't climb up bridges. I stay in my room and I read smut. We're all different. All right, moving along. This one comes from the subway. Sorry, so I got subways on my mind. Ooh. That smell. The smell of a New York City subway, it never leaves you. It never, like, I haven't been in a subway in maybe 6 months, but whenever the topic of New York City subways comes up, I smell the smell. Does that make sense? Whenever I'm talking about the New York City subway, there's such a distinct smell under those tunnels that you could shower, you can go years without being in one, decades even, but that smell is permanent in your mind. And that's what I have on my mind right now. But moving forward, this one comes not from the subway, but from the subreddit, Work From Home, WFH. What are we wearing? I started a fully remote position in October, and I'm wondering what people are wearing while they work from home. I'm a 41-year-old female. Nice. I don't really want to work in pajamas, as I think I'd like to get in the routine of getting dressed in something each day. Should I be investing in more comfy matching sets, leisure wear? I guess I'm looking for what ideas that aren't pajamas, but aren't office attire. Well, first off, congratulations to obtaining a fake job. That's what all these work from home jobs are. I know because I have one. My job is fake. Now, I do it great, but it basically copy paste, copy paste. So congratulations for being paid to do a non-real job. A tip of my penis to you, the 41-year-old lady. You know, I work from home, and I don't wear pajamas, but I wear shorts and yoga pants every day. Like the Lululemon joggers, I wear those every day, and you will too. I work from home is basically you work for 3 hours in the morning, the rest of the afternoon. Yeah, every once in a while you move your mouse around to pretend like you're doing work, and you complete whatever errands you have to the rest of the day. Like I said, it's Fugazi. It exists, but it ain't real. So congratulations to be part of the employees that really aren't affecting the GDP at all. GDP growth at all. We're stealing money from employers, somewhat speaking. So, like I say, I wear a white tee, joggers, shorts. I don't dress up professionally at all, and neither will you. Let's just get that out of the way. Now you could go to Amazon, you could go to Nordstrom's, you could run up a credit card, you get all the Hillary Clinton politician suits, all the fancy garb you want. You could get all matching tops, and you could dress like you're going to a gala. It don't matter. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of your energy. Because you'll dress like this for 3 months maximum. 3 months, your first 90-day probationary period, you will dress up and everyone will be impressed. But after then, you'll start wearing sweatpants and you'll wear whatever is acceptable for a blouse for women. Like that's what you will wear. And within a year, you'll stop wearing makeup and you'll wear anything that doesn't have a visible stain on it will be your work attire. And you won't wear makeup, and you won't even turn the camera on for your team's weekly meetings because you'll look that rugged, that you won't look professional. So you don't want anyone on your camera via Teams messaging, Microsoft Teams, to see you looking with your hair like not did up and everything, saying like that's what's going to become of you. That transformation from dressing up for work from home to being able to be mistaken for a street bum, that happens very quickly. That happens within a 12-month period. And it's not just you, it's everybody, it's both sexes. So really what you're thinking about now, it's nice, but it's similar to having like a job in general. You start a new job, you're all like hunky-dory to have it, you're all jazzed up, you try hard for the first 3 months, you buy into the company culture, and before you know it, like you're doing just enough not to be in the bottom 10%, not to be laid off at the end of the year. When your manager sends a message via Teams like, hey, we have a coworker that's on PTO, or we have some work in the queue, can somebody help out our coworker that's away for the day? You go radio silent and you wait for some other sucker on your team to answer the message and do the work for the coworker that's on PTO. How do I know? Because that's me. And that's going to be you. And that's going to be you before you know it. Because that's work from home. You start out all excited, and before you know it, you're like, I don't give a fuck about this company or what I'm doing. Like, you basically, you're quiet quitting. In your case, you'll be quiet quitting dressing, because really, once you, like, how should I explain this? Caring about your employer and the work you do, that's low IQ. Do just enough to get by. That's high IQ. If you care about your company's culture and their vision, they don't care about you. So you should not care about them. Be a mercenary, get your paycheck, and wear sweatpants. Wear sweatpants, wear a white t-shirt, have your hair up in a bun, don't wear makeup. If you have a baby and you have stains from the baby vomit on your shirt, fine. You work from home. You're living a dream. You're literally entering pre-retirement retirement. That's what work from home is. It's retirement before retirement. And my last bit of advice to you, Miss 41-year-old, who's now going to be work from home, be careful drinking on the job. I had a friend, a comic friend, who got a little lackadaisical. And when he had like a meeting via Teams or Zoom, he was drinking Guinness from a can, and the manager noticed it on the screen, and he got fired for it or reprimanded for it. So if you're going to drink on the job, whether it's wine, liquor, beer, spirits, whatever it is, just put it in a coffee mug. All right, they don't know what you're drinking from that mug. So whatever alcohol, whatever you're drinking, put it in the mug. Because you don't want to get lazy and get caught with a Busch Light on the team's Zoom call. So just and you will drink on the job, especially this summer, Friday afternoon, a little pre-happy hour homemade cocktail. You're gonna do that because you're in pre-retirement. The work from home, it's the best. Congratulations, you no longer have to work for the foreseeable future. So to you and everybody else, go suck a fat one.